Well, here's something that you didn't know. 2 of those special atomic bombs haven't gone off.
We're going to get back to that. Welcome, everybody, to fantaCTE, 6th episode. Lonnie and Vital are back. Last week we had Steve Lamb and Sean Mullins filling in. They did a great job. Not at fantasy necessarily, but they did a great job of filling in for these guys on the podcast. But welcome back, guys. Missed you last week. How was your week? What were you guys doing last weekend? Anything spectacularly interesting?
I got involved in a hit-and-run automobile accident. Did you guys see that on Instagram?
I missed that. Okay.
Yeah, somebody scraped the side of my car and then ran away.
Shit, that sucks, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. I got a picture of the license plate.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, so you saw it. That's all right.
No, yeah, I know. I mean, I was in my car. I was in the car waiting at the red light, and some guy tried to sneak in between 2 lanes and didn't have enough room.
Jesus.
And scraped my car and then jumped the curb and did a U-turn and ran away.
Oh.
But I have a picture of him jumping and leaving.
What an idiot.
Yeah. Seriously.
Did it look at all like Nico Bowling? Is that?
No, it looked a lot like Jay McCord.
Oh, really? Well, I happen to.
You're not going to find him in Miami then.
He was, but if this is his past weekend, he was out of town because I was messaging back and forth.
Right.
We both flew into Philly this weekend.
He's got an alibi.
Yeah, well, allegedly. He put it on Facebook pretty quick, I think. So
right.
Maybe that was part of the strategy. So yeah, I went up to visit my cousins this weekend. My cousin Eric got married, and it's all the guys that in that league that I'm in up there. So we had some competition committee meetings, and it was very.
Congrats, Eric.
Yeah. He's actually, I think, in Tampa now on his honeymoon somewhere on Siesta Key area or something like that. So, did Lonnie cut out on us?
I'm here. I got a phone call.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So anyway, that was it was very productive. We got to talk with Commissioner Nardi. Probably gonna have to have him on the podcast at some point. I might do a special episode with him, whatever. But yeah, it was good. I beat the shit out of it after his wedding. I beat the shit out of him in fantasy. I think I doubled him up in that league. So that was the one positive.
Dude, Lamar. This is why I'm feeling good about my fantasy football team this year. Lamar only scored 14 points. Rob Gronkowski got me 0, and I'm still in 160s.
I know. Fucking crushing it. What did you score last week? The points
like 140, maybe 130, high 130s, something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
This week's totals jumped up.
The what?
Yeah.
The totals this week jumped up, not just in this league, but other league too.
I know.
Cam is he's about to get 200.
Yeah. He got 3 touchdowns from Tyler Higbee though. He got a
right. That's not going to happen every week.
I have Higbee in my other league too. I know Higbee did well the first game too.
Yeah. Higbee's a good play, but he's not going to always score 30. I mean.
Yeah, neither is Josh Allen. That's a fluke with the first 2 games because the Bills are crushing people. That Josh Allen thing, I don't think is going to last.
I think he's going to be good, but I don't think he's going to be that good.
No, I think he'll be at 19.
I'm a big Josh Allen believer.
I am too. I think
he's going to be, but putting up 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
We haven't gone live yet, but this is already part of the podcast. So we're going live on YouTube now.
Okay.
But I am recording.
Can somebody, I know someone's on the computer there. Can someone Google the Buffalo Bills receiving corps, please?
Yeah, I got it.
What, their point totals?
No, I just want to know who their receivers are. I know they have Stephon Diggs and John Brown, but I'm not sure who else they have.
Cole Beasley.
Still?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Cole Beasley, Stephon Diggs. It's not broken up by what else?
John Brown, who I played against in high school.
Did you?
Yeah.
You must have been a nightmare in high school.
He was kind of underrated. He didn't go to a big college. I think he went to Pittsburgh State or something like that.
Wow. Okay.
Isaiah McKenzie and then Gabriel Davis were the only other.
Wow. So, yeah, I guess they don't have – but Stephon Diggs, man.
They have
Andre Roberts. No, John Brown's good.
John Brown is
been
good.
there a long time. Yeah.
I think this is maybe his second or third year in Buffalo. He was with Arizona for a while, and they were pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, they don't have anyone. I don't think Josh Allen keeps this up. I just don't.
Tal, you're not sold?
Yeah, I'm not sold. Not at all, man. I think these the Bills kind of have these sparks in the season where they do really well, and then I hear everyone talk about them like they're a Super Bowl contender, and then end up being the Bills by the end. And everything. Sure. Yeah, I don't think he keeps
I mean, they're going to get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs if they make it, which they always do. You know.
I don't think they'll make the playoffs.
Their division's pretty weak. I mean, the Patriots are doing well.
Oh yeah,
which I knew they would.
But
yeah, good call.
Patriots will still take over the division. The Dolphins aren't doing anything this season. I don't think
Jets are awful.
Jets are a mess.
Sure.
And I would expect the Bills to split one with the Patriots.
I think that's reasonable. I think the Bills are going to compete for the division. I think their defense is actually what people aren't talking about. That is going to just get better throughout the year.
I mean, they have always had a sleeper elite defense. Micah Hyde, Tre'Davious White, like they ball on defense. Yeah. I don't know if Lorenzo Alexander is still there or not, but they have a great defense. They're I went to the Dolphins Bills game last year, and you really get a different sense of players when you see them in person. I was pretty close to the field also. And Josh Allen, I mean, he's just a huge person with a huge arm, but he's very athletic. He runs, he moves, he stands up in the pocket and can move around and make big NFL throws. I'm a big Josh Allen fan.
I am too. I think I drafted him in one of my leagues. I think he's great. I think he actually reminds me a little bit of Cam Newton younger years because he has that elite running ability that people don't always realize. He gets a lot of rushing touchdowns for fantasy-wise.
A lot.
He gets a lot of rushing. I think he had a ton of rushing touchdowns last year. I forget what the number was. It was 11 or 12 rushing touchdowns. He's not the most accurate, but he can make big throws down the field.
Gigantic arm.
Huge arm. Yeah. And if he's got guys now that he's got Stephon Diggs to stretch the field, so you put a Stephon Diggs and a John Brown with an arm like that, he doesn't have to be that accurate because they can get 2 yards of separation a lot of the time. Those guys fly. So I think that receiver pairing is one of the reasons you're seeing him put up big numbers now this year. And yeah, he will probably plateau a little bit during the season.
Defenses will adjust.
Yeah. But because he can make the adjustment with his legs as well, so it's going to be tough to stop him. I think he's going to be a pretty consistent quarterback this year. And
also, as the Bills get better, right now they have Frank Gore, who I'm a big Frank Gore fan, but he's not a top 10 running back.
Gore's. I thought Gore was in New York. I think he's at the Jets now.
The Jets. That's right. That's right.
No, they drafted Zach Moss, who's also a good. So they have 2 good pass catching backs as well. I think Devin Singletary is a decent receiver, and I think Zach Moss, their new guy, is also a pretty good pass catching back. So, and the tight end is Dawson Knox. I don't know. He's not a starter yet, but he's probably worth being a backup in some deeper leagues. He's a pretty athletic tight end. So I'm a believer. I'm not a believer that Cam Bertrand's team is going to score over 200 points every week like he did this week.
No.
That's bullshit. So speaking of this week, we should start with the injury roundup.
Well, I just wanted to ask one thing. Are you guys is your guys' week done?
Mine is. Vital beat the shit out of me this week.
I saw that.
It wasn't even that bad. Oh man, I'm very upset about what happened this week.
I'm up by 90 points on Jay Guy, but he has three. He has 3 players playing tonight. So,
but
he's got.
Dude, he left Kittle in, didn't he?
Kittle's in, but he's got Josh Jacobs. But it's funny, we both scored 0. I played Rob Gronkowski, who's getting a real nice bus ticket to the fucking waiver wire this week.
All these tight ends are balling out too. And you guys,
dude, I mean, there's so many of them that are
20 plus.
Yeah,
I mean, Mike Gesicki, that's the real story of the tight end week for me. He scored 6 points last week, and now he's at 20 something. That's the problem. You had him, right, Nick? You dropped him?
I dropped him, yeah. I picked up Dallas Goedert, who I think is going to be better in the long run and more consistent.
What's up with Zach Ertz? Is Zach Ertz hurt?
No, but there's contract disputes apparently going on.
Dude, that's another problem with tight ends that people don't really talk about. Is like just because your tight end is starting does not mean that the second tight end is gonna get more catches than the second tight end. You know?
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Like tight ends get rotated so much, dude. They'll probably put their third tight end in, and if he's good, they'll keep him out. That's it.
For sure. Like Aaron Hernandez was the second tight end. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't ever maybe he started 1 year or two, but he was not the first tight end option. You know, but he balled. You know,
yeah. They also were doing 2 tight end sets, all like they were 2
and 3
tight end sets. Yeah, but they were running a 2 tight end offense almost all season just because they had those guys.
Is Tampa doing that?
Yes.
They are?
No, yes, they are. I was watching the Saints Buccaneers game, and OJ Howard and Rob Gronkowski were in on most snaps.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I think
that's why I was pissed because I picked up Rob Gronkowski, but I forgot about OJ Howard, and I'm like, oh shit.
He's going to be the guy, I think, in Tampa.
Big 0 points out there.
Yeah.
But he also didn't do well this week either. But
it's going to be hard to pick with that offense because Brady throws to the open guy.
You've also now Brady has real receivers, right? So he doesn't really need a tight end like he's relied on his entire career.
Almost.
Yeah, he's got deep wide out, dude.
Right.
Mike Evans was scary at the beginning for you, Nick. Like, I was worried. Like, starting out in the first quarter, it was like, whoa.
You got lucky. You beat me by 20, less than 20 points, and I benched. I let you get in my head.
Yeah, you did. Anyway, you did. I started texting him early in the morning, just like criticizing his roster.
An asshole. I benched James Conner, but I was going to look at it anyway, and I was looking at Paris Campbell because he had a huge week last week. And I was considering putting him in anyway because we do full PPR, and I was like, I kind of like Paris Campbell in that, and that was.
Remind me who Paris Campbell is. Where does he play?
He's the number 2 receiver for the Colts. And
okay.
I thought they were going to have a good week this week, and he went out with an injury in the first quarter. So
my Colts defense that I picked up real late on a whim has balled the first 2 weeks. I think they had 17 points this week.
The Colts themselves are playing really well. I picked up a lot of their rookie running backs, and they're killing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I had 3 running backs on my bench score 20 points that I needed Vital, and Paris Campbell is knocked out with 1 catch or half a catch. I don't even know.
On Thursday night, I left Kareem Hunt on the bench, and he scored 24. Ooh. And what's his name? Nick Chubb balled, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna get beat bad this week, but the fantasy guys are with me. You know, I'm still holding out. I mean, it's very unlikely that the 3 players that Jay Guy has playing tonight will all score 30 points, but it's possible.
I guess. I don't think it's very likely. He's not even paying attention, man. He left Kittle in this week. Like I don't know.
Right.
Somebody has to get a hold of Jay and find out if he's even still.
He had a busy week at the Improv, I think, though, right?
That's true.
I guess that's a reasonable excuse, but yeah, just basically tanking for Lonnie. That's bullshit. Oh man.
Well, you'll play him.
I know. I'll get to play him. Yeah. By then, somebody will tell him about the waiver wire, though.
Yeah, he'll be focused.
Right. Yeah. No, I've had a rough start. I figured this out. So because we don't do point differential as our first tiebreaker, which most leagues do, these losses hurt even more because I only play Steve and Vital once this year. They're not 2 of the team. I don't have a chance to redeem myself and even the tiebreaker or anything like that. So they both hold a tiebreaker over me now, which sucks.
It's nice. It's nice. I like that.
Yeah, because I've scored a lot of points. My team 0-2. I've scored a ton of points, but it really doesn't matter that much for us.
It's points are second though, right?
Points are the second tiebreaker, yeah.
Okay.
But you don't have to worry about that with my team. So
yeah,
and we're almost even in points. I think I'm only going to be about 10 points behind your team overall total for the first 2 weeks.
Oh, I thought it was points in that matchup. It's points total.
Points in the matchup is we use fractional scoring. So like the likelihood that we ever have a tie in a matchup is pretty. And I think it's bench points are the tiebreaker if we ever actually had the exact same score.
Okay.
For the matchup, but that's when you're doing fractional scoring, it probably happens 1 out of a million matchups every year or something like that.
Yeah, because we're like 2 digits deep, right? Yeah, we're like 0.46.
I think
yes,
we're all the way down to the 100th. So It's not going to happen, really. It's whoever scores the most. Obviously, the big news is all the injuries this week. Saquon, done for the year.
Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey is 2 to 6 weeks. And that hurts me because I'm 0-2 with my McCaffrey team. But I'm also getting Chris Godwin back. Chris Godwin coming back after 1 week of concussion protocol. That's the one positive probably from this whole – the only good news about a player coming back right now. But McCaffrey's – he said he's taking that as a challenge, and he's a freak athlete. He's saying 2 to 6 weeks he's taking that as a challenge upon himself. So I think it's going to be closer to 2 than 6, and I really need it.
What happened? He tweaked his knee, right?
High ankle sprain, which
okay.
They say is, you never know.
You know, it's funny, man. If any one of us had a high ankle sprain, we would be done for 6 months.
Oh,
like, we're not moving
No.
for 6 months. These guys are going to be playing NFL football in 3 weeks, you know?
I don't know. I get worried about high ankle sprains. I feel like they're always pre-ACL injuries. Like, whatever
Right.
high ankles. I was like, come on.
Who is that receiver? Who is that really good receiver from the Bears after Brandon Marshall?
Alshon Jeffrey?
Alshon Jeffrey. So Alshon Jeffrey hurt his groin. I think he tore his groin, and he was back in like 6 weeks. I had a buddy that tore his groin playing football in high school. He was dealing with it for 9 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's different levels of tear, too. I mean,
Of course. But I'm just saying, like, the level of, like, athleticism and preparation and, you know, the doctors that they have, the medical staff that they have.
The treatment that they're getting is incredible.
Yeah.
But, yeah, their bodies are recovering at a much higher rate than ours were. Sure.
There's another injury that happened today that's interesting is also Cortland Sutton.
I saw that.
I don't know how long he's out for, but it looks pretty substantial.
He's out for the season.
He's out for the season. Yeah. So that means Jerry Jeudy's value just went up quite a bit.
Yep.
And Jerry Jeudy is sitting on my bench, nice and pretty. So,
hey. But are you going to trade this season?
Maybe. Make me an offer. I need a tight end. I know you've got Travis Kelce sitting there.
No.
Maybe Jerry Jeudy and a Kareem Hunt.
We could talk about that actually. We'll get offline. Jerry Jeudy, Kareem Hunt, and I'll throw one more in for you, and then I'll probably give it Kelce.
So I'm looking at teams like Sean's who lost. He also lost Raheem Mostert, but I don't know for how long. That's another pretty big injury. But they haven't said he's still just questionable. But he left the game and didn't come back. So I was looking at Sean's team. He has Saquon and Raheem Mostert going down. And I think he lost something else too. And
he got the first pick bad luck.
I know. The curse of the first pick, yeah.
No, I warned him, though, man. Everyone warned him. That happened in some of my other league, too. Everyone picking Saquon first.
Yeah, it was a bad – it just –
But honestly, I mean, most leagues are probably going through something similar right now with Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley both being out. I mean, that's number 1 and 2 in most – I mean, in almost how many percentage of leagues?
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. I think probably most leagues that's the case. Those are 2 big ones. There were a couple other.
Oh, I'm still dealing with Michael Thomas.
Right, he's not playing tonight.
That hurt me.
Yep.
I
he might be done for the
If
season.
it wasn't for that.
Wait, Michael Thomas might be done for the season?
They're saying. I think they're being like a little sheepish about it. They don't want to like admit anything, but they're saying
he's not back this week, and no one's given a time.
Really?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That was a high angle.
They're being very, very cagey around his injury.
Interesting. Devontae Adams went out this week.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Hamstring injury. Those you never know. Of course, it happened the week after I played Steve, and he puts up 42 on me.
Sure.
So as far as like the waivers are concerned, a couple guys that are going to be out there, they're going to be a big deal, I think, this week, especially depending on what Raheem Mostert is, like what his timetable is Jerick McKinnon is available everywhere, it seems like. Like, unless you're in a super deep league. And he put up some points last week, even when they had the full complement of running backs. And I think Tevin Coleman might be banged up and nicked up a little bit too.
He is.
Yeah. So Jerick McKinnon could be a real big pickup. That's probably somebody a lot of guys are going to target. The Giants are working out Devontae Freeman. I don't know how exciting that is, but he's a guy who could be on a team.
I can't believe he's not on a roster.
Yeah, he did. He was coming back from an injury last year, and he started slow, but he did play pretty well throughout the course of the season. So I'm kind of – apparently he got an offer from Seattle, but it wasn't the offer he was looking for, and maybe just –
That was a bad decision for him. I think he needs to be on a good team for him to do well. Like,
Sure.
if he goes to, like, the Giants with that offensive line, I don't think he's going to get it.
I think he's still
Right, but now he's in a position where he probably has to act out of desperation instead of a place where he can, like, pick a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
But the Seahawks made him an offer.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, and he turned it down, and now he's probably like looking for at scraps compared to like now that Seahawks deal is probably looking pretty good to him.
I don't know. I think it has more to do with him being still being the guy. Like I think he wanted a position where on a team where he could be the feature back, and waiting for an injury is the best way to do that. When a team really needs you, then he can go in and step in and be
Right.
the guy.
That's a good point.
Whereas in Seattle, he's going to be buried on that depth chart, and they're going to have Rashad Penny back at some point this year, who was productive last year in a secondary role. So
You think Devontae Freeman would get buried in the depth chart between under Chris Carson and Rashad Penny?
and also Carlos Hyde.
I don't think so. I think
a
the Seahawks like to promote people, though. Like, if you kill it, dude, they'll run you.
Yes, that's true. They'll play the best back, but Chris Carson is just – he's been a monster for 2 years. Like, their offense runs through Chris Carson, more so even than Russell Wilson for the last 2 years. Russell makes it go, but they start with Chris Carson. And then
I mean, the Seahawks won a Super Bowl running their offense through their running back. I mean, they're not a pass-first team ever.
They're not. And Russell Wilson, you know, he's phenomenal, and he does really well with that setup, but that is their run first, and then Russ makes huge plays as a secondary option.
I mean, they won the Super Bowl. He was throwing like 17 passes a game.
Yeah. He throws them deep, and he gets a lot of yardage. And
I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history, don't get me wrong, but he's not like the Seahawks have never used him as a 60 pass a game kind of quarterback, which I love. I think that's the way to do it.
Right. So I think that has more to do. I think Carson's production and just how much they like him, and then the depth they had behind him already had more to do with Devontae Freeman turning down that deal than anything. And now he can go to the Giants and be the guy. And who knows? You know, if he's the guy there, then maybe he can be the guy somewhere else next year. I just think he wanted to be the feature back and get feature back.
It's a good waiver pickup. It's a good gamble for sure.
It might be. It's something. Yeah, it's definitely something. If you had Saquon, it's probably something you want to look at. Wayne Gallman's the other guy. I don't know, but you don't know who's going to come out of that. They'll probably split carries. Drew Lock. Let's get to quarter. Drew Lock is down for a while. It was a bad shoulder injury. I think they said 6 to 8 weeks, maybe.
Ugh,
yeah,
rough.
But Jake Driscoll played pretty well against that Steelers defense. He mounted a little bit of a comeback, but that's going to hurt a Jerry Jeudy value. You know, you combine.
Are you talking about Jeff Driscoll from Florida?
Jeff Driscoll? Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He
I did not know he was
school.
in the NFL.
Yep. I believe that's who we're talking about. He is the backup for Drew Lock in Denver, and he came in and he looked pretty decent against the Steelers. They didn't win, but they made it a game. But you lose Cortland Sutton and you lose your starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Jerry Jeudy might struggle, even though he's going to be the guy.
Well, but that also increases his value, I would say, too.
I don't know. He's going to see a lot of double coverage, and you got a backup quarterback thrown into double coverage. That's not always a recipe.
Don't they have another? They have another receiver that's pretty good too. I think
they've got a bunch of young guys. They don't have a whole lot of. They've got talent at wide receiver, but they don't have a lot of experience. And Philip Lindsay is out as of right now still, so they're hurting. The Broncos are hurting.
Melvin Gordon came back and he actually scored me about 18 points.
Right. He actually had a couple nice – so they were using him as running some routes, and he had some nice catches from Driscoll. So he's going to be – his value is still rock solid and better than it was in the beginning of the year, I think, at least until Lindsay comes back. So what else? Anything else that jumped out at you guys this week? Anything fancy-worthy or just –
Well, let's just talk about the Cowboys.
Shall we talk about the Cowboys?
I think we shall. I was ready to text you guys and be like, is it too late to change our Super Bowl pick?
Yo, that was a good comeback. That game was
embarrassed.
I never gave up on them. I was watching Red Zone, but the whole time I was like, I'm not counting the Cowboys out of this one. Atlanta's defense is terrible. They're awful. Yeah. I was like, the Cowboys still have a shot at this. And they kept making plays the whole way. Yeah.
I mean, if any team was going to blow a lead, it was going to be Atlanta.
Sure. I don't think anybody was surprised by that, really. I mean, it was exciting. It was, don't get me wrong, it was the game of the week. It was so exciting.
They made a couple touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and they were still down, but you felt the momentum. Like,
yes.
They had it out.
Oh, I think we were down. I think we were down 2 scores with like 5 or 6 minutes left in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys saw the onside kick.
I watched.
Yeah, that was
unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Just let it go.
Everybody was so I was watching with my cousins who played football, and we were talking about the onside kick, and they were like, that spinning motion on the ground. Those Falcons players knew that they were allowed to jump on it, but they were scared to jump on it because
pops out.
If you jump, it squirts right out the side. Like the way that he kicked it, stuck to the ground, spinning. Greg Zuerlein was unbelievable in that game to close it out, to do that kick. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. But those Falcons players were scared to jump on it because they knew as soon as they did, Cowboys were going to be in there trying to punch it out, and it was going to be really hard to secure the ball in that kind of emotion.
So they just decided not to do anything.
I don't think they were planning on seeing that. I think so. This brought up another interesting point, and we don't have it as an option, but I think we mentioned it preseason. I really want to see onside kicks being a scorable thing for defense and special teams. That should have been worth 5 points at least for the Cowboys defense special teams. It's just one of the hardest plays to make in the entire.
Oh, I mean, it almost never happens. You might get one a year.
Yeah. I also think that we might start seeing that style of kick more often too.
Sure.
Because it's just going to be it's just going to make it interesting. It's going to make it, without the running start, it's a way that could, we'll see if teams figure it out, but it could make onside kicks interesting again if it is hard to cover up on that, which it obviously was.
Right.
I want to see onside kicks be interesting again. I want it to be it was like a 25% recovery rate at one point, and that was.
Oh yeah, I mean, it used to be something you would actually try.
Yeah. They still have to try it at the end, but you just assume it's not going to happen. And I know,
but now they have to get creative, and they have to consult with soccer players and stuff like that. So it's much different.
But now everyone's going to start doing that spinny leg. It's a copycat league. That's what everyone says. Like the year everyone did the Wildcat.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is, I think, the innovation that we've been waiting to see for the onside kick, because it's just been like last year or two, it's just been terrible. Like nobody even cares. Nobody even watches. It almost never happens. So
Vital, you brought up the Wildcat. The Falcons would have won that game if Julio Jones didn't drop a wide open pass in the end zone.
Can we talk about how Julio Jones is probably washed? Like he's been getting a lot of a lot of people his value, and especially in fantasy. But is he really producing? Especially that new kid, Calvin
Ridley.
Yeah.
Julio's still not single coverable, and Calvin Ridley is the beneficiary of that.
Exactly. Calvin Ridley is getting numbers because of a guy like Julio. He wouldn't be doing that if he were the number one guy for sure.
Right. Also,
correct. Where is Calvin Ridley from? Is he from Florida State or Alabama?
He's in Alabama. Yeah, he's in Alabama court because they have 2 Alabama receivers. That was the big thing. It's like they got Julio, and then they drafted another Alabama receiver 10 years later to go with him. But one of the big reasons I think you've seen is Julio's fantasy value drop, but their offense is also just explosive, is the third receiver, Russell Gage. And he's a guy who's also available on waivers and in a lot of leagues. He got picked up by a few people last week, but he's available in a lot of leagues. And I think in that offense, as bad as their defense is, as much as they're going to throw it, as good as Matt Ryan still is at slinging the ball down the field, that's a 3 wide receiver group that I think will all be productive. I think Russell Gage is going to be like the CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys.
And their tight end. They have a very good tight end this year too.
Hayden Hurst, right?
Hurst.
Yeah, it's Hurst. Yeah, Hayden Hurst is definitely – I think all 4 of those guys are going to be productive in that offense.
Yeah.
But that's why I think you're seeing Julio dip his value a little bit, because they're going to spread it around.
There's just more to spread, That makes sense.
Yeah. But I don't think he's washed by any stretch.
No.
How old is he, though? Julio's been the number one wideout. People draft him a lot of times, and now I'm just like, I don't know if he's worth it anymore.
He's not. He's may not reach his ADP, but I don't know. I think he's still. He got him in the third, fourth round. He's part of that. He's part of a group receiving corps now. And they're all gonna eat. They're all gonna get yards, catches, and touchdowns. So I would want any part of that. Any one of those guys, I think is good to have on your team, and mostly because they're going to be playing from behind or playing catch up, or just that's their game this year. They're going to have to put up 45 points to win, I think.
They usually play from ahead. That's what happened in the Cowboys game. They bombed out that first.
Didn't do a lot of good. I mean, they couldn't keep it. They couldn't keep the lead. I think. So did you guys watch the Thursday night game? We're going back a little bit further.
Yeah.
All I can think of, it was a good one. It was like the battle for Ohio was fun to watch.
Yeah.
And all I could think of, you were talking about the Browns, you bench screen Hunt. Man, if Baker Mayfield could hit a moving target, how good would they be? Their defense looks kind of scary.
2 interceptions, right?
I don't know. He just didn't. He looked better in that game, but he's just not that accurate. And I know he's athletic and he's a great leader and he's a whatever. But man, like if he could put it on the guys, or if he can learn to put it on the guys consistently, that's a team that could be scary. I know everybody's been saying it for years, but they really kind of looked like it. And more than any reason, just those running backs. God.
But also they did that versus Cincinnati, so.
Yeah, no, I know.
I mean, looking scary, it really depends on the team you're playing.
I don't know. I don't think they looked scary. I was saying if Baker could hit the broadside of a barn when he throws the ball, they would be scary. Like he just isn't. If he had a moderate amount of accuracy, I think they would be terrifying.
They wasted that draft pick, man. Like, they really did. Fuck that. They really did. They could have had a really solid QB besides Baker Mayfield. Just like a real just West Coast QB. That's what they needed. And they would have been fine. Like,
yeah. I mean, I'm not going to judge him too quick because it took Drew Brees a few years to get started, too, if you guys remember.
Sure.
But I think he was also always more accurate than Baker.
Definitely.
But
different style of player.
Yeah. But there are a bunch of QBs who, like, their first 3 years in the league, they were like, they're okay. Like, Brees didn't start playing well until they drafted Rivers behind him. Maybe
but
that's
also, Baker's not even in that same kind of situation because they thrusted him into, like, this spotlight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not like he gets to be in the shadow. They made him the leader of this great, like, this team that's set up for victory.
Right. Yeah.
Boy.
This might be his make or break year. They've been talking about that. You put all those weapons around him. If you can't win with those guys, and you got Myles Garrett on defense. I know he's one guy's not the whole defense, but he makes plays. He gets the ball back for you.
I feel bad for Baker. He would have been better starting as a backup and coming up.
Sure, anybody would be. I mean, any player for the most part would be better being a backup for 2 or 3 years.
Well, but speaking of that, did you guys see? The Chargers game at all? Did you see Justin Herbert?
Yeah.
I told you guys about Justin Herbert, man.
Because I took Arizona's defense, too. I mean, what's it called? Kansas City's defense. Because I thought for sure they weren't going to ball out.
I thought they were going to make it a lot harder for him. I think they should have gone for it at the end. They had a chance to go for a touchdown or a first down, but like to try to go up instead of tie the game at the end and go to overtime. I don't think you want to go to overtime against the Chiefs. Like, I know normally you take the points. And
they tied, right?
No, the Chiefs won.
They did?
Yeah, Butker kicked like a 58-yarder to close them out in overtime. But Justin Herbert looked really good.
Really good.
Yeah. I
remember him. I heard about him in camp that he was just blowing people away.
Yep. So that might not be, you were saying it's better to wait behind somebody, but he looks like he might be ready to start right away. Like or come in sooner than later. But
it's not about being ready. I think most guys when they come in for with the exception of a few are ready, quote unquote. But I think the knowledge base that you get of like having an NFL practice and coaching staff for a few years, getting used to the speed of the game and not having the pressure of like, okay, you've got 2 games to prove yourself. And then if you don't prove yourself, you're cut,
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's better benefits most of those guys. Every one of the guys that you see sit, it always benefits them, for sure.
Mhm.
But Herbert could be a player right now, I think. He looked really good. Their offense looked better. And I think it also just Tyrod Taylor. Nobody's excited about a Tyrod Taylor-led offense. They might win some games, but he's just,
Tyrod Taylor is just like a winner. You know, he's just like a hungry player, but it's not going to be pretty. Colt
a lot
McCoy
of
is
fourth
like
quarter
that too.
throws. Like,
yeah, but he's been replaced he got replaced by Josh Allen in Buffalo. He got replaced by Baker Mayfield in Cleveland. It's like the guy they bring in just to hold the seat warm.
Be a placeholder, yeah.
Yeah. And he might not be there for very long. But they said some weird chest injury. I don't know. He was like a last second scratch on that game. It was minutes.
So how long did they say given out time?
No, because the injury happened, or whatever happened, it was like some kind of chest injury or chest pain that he started experiencing. Because you're supposed to designate a guy in or out, and he had no designation all week. And then right as they were warming up, I think he was suited up for the game, and then they had to bring him to the hospital. It was weird.
Yeah, they said Justin Herbert said that literally seconds before the game started, they came up to him and like, "You're starting today."
Yeah. And maybe that's why he did so well. He was just like, he didn't have time to get nervous.
Yeah.
He just threw him in there. He's like, I'm playing the Chiefs. What the fuck? Let's beat him. And they almost did. That was
got really close, man. They were really that offense.
Yep.
They always have a really high-powered offense, though, man.
Yeah.
Is it a steady coach there?
Anthony Lynn is their coach. He's been there for.
They have I think it's his first year coaching them this year.
Is he? I thought
Pretty quick. I think he's pretty new.
Maybe. Okay. I want to say at least a couple years.
They've been doing very well the past couple of years.
Yeah. They always start slow and then they come on late and maybe almost make the playoffs and sometimes just barely makes it.
Get a couple games.
Knock a few teams out. Yeah. They're always good for a little drama. That's for sure. All right. So let's talk scoring for our system. DraftKings we did last week. You guys killed me. We played 2 games last week. We got both of the Monday because there was 2 Monday nights.
That's how you won, right?
I think I won the second one. You won the first one, right? By like 0.1 or something.
Right, and the last second, which didn't even make any sense.
I don't even understand how. You know what it was? They probably miscalculated a play earlier in the game, and then they figured out who it was.
Yeah, because I was like trying to do the math in my head, and it didn't seem right. Like I was like counting up the numbers, and it didn't even seem like.
No. It was a 1/10 of a point you beat me by. All right. So if we're going to go, I think our season-long contest, we decided, or we were talking about it, but let's set this in stone since we're going to get right into it week 2 here. I think we should do we agree on the henna tattoo? Is that something we're going to do for the winner and the loser?
This is for the worst player in our fantasy league?
Between the 3 of us. No. We already have a penalty set for our big league. No, I'm talking about for the 3 of us on the podcast. We're going to do competitions each week. So we're going to play DraftKings against each other every week, and we're also going to pick the worst quarterback every week. And I think we should. So we're going to set up. Vital and I were already talking about a scoring system, a very simple point system where you keep track through the whole season. And I think whoever gets in first should get to pick a henna tattoo for whoever comes in last. To make it real interesting. You guys on board with that?
Sure.
All right. Stipulations. The henna tattoo should have to be in what month? Summer?
Well, I would just
Spring
request
break?
not that it be anywhere that like I can't hide with clothing in case I have to go to work.
I think shoulder or lower back, probably belly, maybe. But yeah, something that's covered with a t-shirt. I think we'll say for the waist up and coverable by a t-shirt. But you will have to display it at certain times during the course of whatever, like at least a couple times, maybe once a week you have to go shirtless at somewhere public.
How long does a henna tattoo last?
6 weeks.
I think like 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Yep. So I think, and also a reasonable stipulation is Vital, you should if you're the loser, you should have to get a gold henna tattoo
Right.
because it will show up. Otherwise, it's not going to be fair.
My black tattoos show up just fine.
Yeah, the gold will look so much better though. I mean, it's just
Fine. Gold.
And Lonnie and I can get the dark one, and it'll stick
I'm
out.
not going to lose anyway. It's fine.
You know? All right, so this is what we were talking about for scoring. So we're going to do 2 contests. I think we should do the Super Bowl picks as well. Should incorporate those scoring. So let's set all the scoring up right now. But I think we should keep it simple. First place in DraftKings gets 2 points. Second place, 1 point. Last place, 0 points for the week. And then same with the quarterback picks. If you get the worst quarterback, you get 2 points. Second worst, 1 point. Your quarterback scores the most points, you get 0 points. Sound fair? So each competition is worth the same amount of points. And if I set up DraftKings correctly this week, which is a big if, but if I did it right, then DraftKings will keep track of the total points scored for our entire season. And we can take this all the way through to the Super Bowl with DraftKings too, that'll be more fun because we're not going to have actual fantasy to play at that point. We'll be doing just the daily fantasy stuff. So if I didn't screw that up, we could do an extra. How many points do you think for the most points scored total? It's not matchup wins. It's just total points for DraftKings. What do we want to award that?
We'll count it like you won a game,
2
like
more
you won
points?
a week.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, that sounds good. 2 extra points. All right.
Yeah.
2 point bonus. Put that down for most points. And Super Bowl picks.
So maybe it should be if you get each team that you get correct. Like if you get both teams correct, you should get maybe, I would say, 2 points per team.
2 points per team that get to the Super Bowl.
And then if you pick the right winner, maybe it should be 5. It should be like 5 or something.
5 for the winner. Oh, that's what I was thinking too. Okay, that sounds good. All right, so a 2 point bonus and then 5 point bonus. Good. All right. Now, coincidentally, since we didn't do quarterbacks last week, I forget who we picked. Oh, I picked Tyrod Taylor, which is we have to figure out how we're going to do this because Tyrod Taylor didn't score any points, but he didn't play in the game. So I think that's a disqualification if your quarterback doesn't play in the game. So I say we're only allowed to pick quarterbacks who are not are projected to play, right? So nobody with a designation questionable, you can't pick those guys. And if your quarterback does go out with an injury, just text me like a substitute or whatever before the game starts or something. Just pick another quarterback. But we can't pick I'm going to pick Driscoll or Mullins this week who might play, but they might not play. You know what I mean? That can't pick a backup unless you know for sure they're supposed to play.
Well, who else would play besides Driscoll?
No, Driscoll you can pick because Locke is designated out. Nick Mullins you can't pick because we don't know about Jimmy G yet. If Jimmy G was already designated out and Nick Mullins is projected to be the starter, fair game. Maybe we should say you can pick Nick Mullins, but if he doesn't play at all, you're disqualified.
I mean, it's like fantasy football, exactly how fantasy football works.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's say you can pick any quarterback you want. You could pick Marcus Mariota if you want.
You can pick Brett Favre if you want.
Sure.
But yeah, how about we do it until game time? If one of us texts you or texts the group, we're like, oh, hey, we heard. Because if we're doing it based on, what's the time limit for our calls? Just when we do it on air?
I was going to say we have to pick them tonight for next week.
But what if I hear in 30 minutes it's like a Tyrod Taylor thing, and I text you, I'm like, yo, Nick.
I think that's a gamble you got to take. You have to decide if it's worth the gamble, worth the risk. Because we're picking them a week in advance. So I think you have to make one pick on the podcast. You have to stick with that pick. And if it's a risk you're willing to take, like a Nick Mullins, who probably is going to play for Jimmy G, but we don't know yet, that's a risk you're willing to take. But they have to start the game in order to qualify for the worst quarterback of the week. If a guy goes out injured, but they start the game, I think they still qualify.
Yeah.
Right? Like these guys get injured in games, shit happens.
Yeah, because if you're injury prone, that's a reason to bet against you too.
Right, exactly. All right. So all that being said, are we in agreement on the quarterback rules? Worst quarterback of the week, aka I'd rather have Kaepernick.
Right.
All right, then. So based on all this scoring system, everything that we just established, DraftKings from week 1, quarterbacks from week 1. Quarterbacks from week 1, you guys, I don't know if you listened to the last podcast when I had the other guys on. Mitch Trubisky balled out, and 2 weeks in a row now. I don't know that Mitch is going to be – he might have just legitimately – we were all thinking Nick Foles had a bad camp. Mitch might have had a really good camp, it's looking like.
Didn't he have a bad game this week, though? Trubisky didn't score a lot this week.
I think he did pretty good. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. The Bears had like 10 points or something, right?
Hang on, let me see. Mitch Trubisky he only scored 11 points, so he didn't do well this week. All right, so maybe that was an aberration. Who knows?
It's a one-game aberration. That's it.
But that was Lonnie's pick. You got last place now, and obviously, Sam Darnold scored slightly more than Dwayne Haskins. Even though Dwayne Haskins got the week 1 win against Philadelphia, he scored shit for fantasy points. And that just might be the Redskins' MO this year. I don't know.
Do well in
How did
fantasy
Fitzpatrick
points.
do yesterday? Who did they play and did they win? I didn't even look.
Who? Fitzpatrick?
The Dolphins.
The Dolphins.
They lost against the Bills, but they played really decently. Lost by 3, and Fitzpatrick, I think, got like 25, 26 points, something
He
like
got
that.
25 in our league. Yeah, he got 25 points. All right. So that being said, after calculating all of the previous years, this is just a happy coincidence. Right now, we're all tied at 2 apiece. So, going into week 3 of DraftKings, we're tied 2-2-2. Everybody has 2 points so far. So everything's completely fair and equal across the board going forward, and now we know our scoring system. You guys already did DraftKings for this week? Did you already pick your okay.
Yeah.
So obviously,
Yeah, just finished up.
You did? All right, cool. So let's we're not going to tell our whole lineups, but you guys want to say who you got for your captains?
Yeah, sure.
All right. What do you got? I gotta remember who I got.
I got Alvin Kamara.
Me too.
You guys both took Kamara. Interesting. All right. And we're using the honor system. I trust you guys. We're not going to change our lineups last second. I mean, this is pretty much set. I took – hang on, let me see. I don't remember who I took. I think I took a –
Breezy like Sunday morning.
Derek Carr.
Ooh, really? That's
Derek
crazy.
Carr.
He
I
got
know.
to throw 2 interceptions.
Here's why I took Derek Carr. I like their offense. I think they're going to be – it's probably going to be a shootout, as often as with New Orleans. And Josh Jacobs had such a monster week last week. I think they're going to be focused on him this week. He also catches a lot of passes, though. So they're going to be focused on stopping him in the running game, which is going to open it up for the passing game for Derek Carr.
He just has no receivers, but he's got Henry Ruggs, right? But that's about it.
He's got Hunter Renfrow. He's got Nelson Aguilar. But he's got Josh Jacobs. And he's got Darren Waller. And I may have played Waller, but I'm not sure. But Darren Waller's he's like a number 1 receiver. He was incredible last year. And I think he was one of the highest drafted tight ends in the league this year. So, yeah, took a shot on Derek Carr. I think he might have a really big game tonight. And we'll see what happens. I don't even know if I
Let's see.
Yeah. All right, so that one's going to be fun. Bad quarterbacks. Let's do our bad quarterback picks of Burrow. What's Burrow's first name?
Joe
Burrow against the Eagles. Jimmy Garoppolo, maybe, or Nick Mullins against the Giants. Phillip Rivers against the Jets. Baker Mayfield against the Washington football team. Derek Carr against the Patriots. Now we're getting down to the dregs here. Dwayne Haskins against the Browns. Daniel Jones against the Niners, who also lost 2 players on defense. We didn't even talk about that. Their defense is going to take a hit. Nick Bosa's out for the season. One of their other defensive ends took a hit. But I did hear that they signed Ziggy Ansah. So they're going to try to patch that hole up. So, yeah, Daniel Jones against the Niners. Kirk Cousins has looked not great, and he's playing against the Titans defense.
Didn't he just get a huge contract, too?
Yes.
Motherfuckers, when they get paid, dude.
He started slow last year, though, and they finished pretty strong. But he also had Stephon Diggs. And he's bringing along a rookie receiver, Justin Jefferson, who should just get better. So I'm not going to write him off totally for the season yet, but Titans' defense is mean. Teddy Bridgewater against the Chargers D minus Christian McCaffrey. That could be a factor. One way or the other, though. I don't know. Their receivers have been looking pretty good, and he might just throw it a lot. Fitzmagic against the Jags. The Denver quarterback, Driscoll, we assume it's going to be against the Bucks. That could be tough. Sam Darnold against the Colts. That's going to be a bloodbath. And I think that wraps up the starting quarterbacks for us. So,
Okay.
Let's go.
I think I have my pick.
Well, hold on a second. To be fair about this, I think we should go with who got worst should get to pick first.
That was me. I was
That
worst.
yes, you were the worst. But we got to agree on that, too, for the rest of the season as well. Yeah?
Sure.
Okay. So, Lonnie, because you did not get any points last time, who you got?
Kirk Cousins.
Cousins against – who are they against? Oh, the Titans.
Titans.
All right. Lonnie's going Cousins. That's a pretty – it's bold, but I actually think it's a pretty good pick. Vital, you got second in the QB.
I think I'm gonna go with what's that? Broncos. Jeff Driscoll.
Driscoll.
Yeah.
You're gonna take
I
Driscoll.
think he had a good start week, but I don't know.
Driscoll's against the – who did I say? They're gonna be up
Buccaneers?
against the Bucks. Yep.
Yeah.
The
They played
Bucks
well.
defense is looking good. All right. Well, you guys left him for me. I'm going to take Sam Darnold against the Colts defense.
I just didn't want to take Darnold again, and I picked him last week. You know, it's too easy.
I mean, if you're going to leave him, yeah, it is. But also, the Colts defense is tough. Like, if you're going to be Darnold against Atlanta, I probably would have picked somebody else. You know, the Colts have a good defense. And Darnold is dog shit. All right, let me get this down real quick. Driscoll, Vital, I got Darnold. All right.
Watch, Kirk Cousins is going to have the game of his life.
Yeah, I think he already had the game of his life. He had the game of his life against the New Orleans Saints in the playoffs when he hit Stephon Diggs for a walk-off touchdown. That was
Sure.
his life. I don't think it's
got
ever
him that contract.
Yeah. I don't. Did he get a contract this year, or he got?
I think it was last year,
He got an extension last year.
and he really shit the bed.
It was right after that, but it was after that big play. It's like you put a team on the map. If they start naming a play after a city that you made, like you're gonna get some money.
Right.
Minneapolis Miracles will always be remembered. All right. So, who you guys got tonight's game? Just in general, what do you like? And what do you need?
Saints.
Do you need anything? Do you need anything? You said you could still potentially lose, right, Lonnie?
I mean, yeah, Jay Guy needs to score 90 points about, and I think he has possibly 3, maybe 2 player slots left. But he has Josh Jacobs. You know, he could drop a 40 burger on me real easy.
He could. Yep. All right. Does he have a quarterback playing tonight?
No.
No quarterbacks. You're probably in.
No, I don't think so. I don't know if one of you guys could look it up. That would be great. I'm on my phone here, but
Yeah. Let me see.
I'll look.
I got our league open.
Oh, okay.
Let me see what we got.
pretty sure it's
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs.
Jacobs, Sanders, and Will Lutz. He needs Will Lutz to kick 40.
Will Lutz to get 30 points,
Yeah,
right?
I think
It could happen.
It could happen. We have long kick bonuses. So if he kicks 8 60-yarders, you'd be in trouble maybe. That could be. That's a real possibility. Vital, we already covered this. You have wrapped it up. We're already done. We don't even have any players tonight, which is also
Neither of you do?
No, we're done.
No,
That's unusual.
It is.
we were done pretty early. I feel like in our thing. Really.
Yeah.
We had a lot of early games.
I think maybe all of my players played at 1:00 this week.
Yeah, I knew your score by the end. By the beginning of the afternoon games, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't have a bad score. Like ours was close until the very. You needed Russell Wilson to have a monster. Well, you needed him.
But I knew he would have. Anything 20 plus, I knew I was winning. And
But it was
Russell Wilson
close.
always gives you that.
You didn't win until the third quarter last night. It kept me glued to the TV.
I was fine. I wasn't bothered. I knew he was going to do it. Even if, if you're down in the fourth quarter, all he's going to do is throw. I'm only going to get points.
That was a fun game, though, last night, right down to the wire.
Oh, yeah. Very, very fun game.
That was a great game. And it was everything I hoped for and expected it to be. It was.
Didn't the year that the Panthers go to the Super Bowl, they beat Seattle in the conference championship, right?
Yep, and I think they lost to them in the regular season, but it was close. That might have been the one loss that they had because they went 15-1.
15-1.
And I think they might have lost to Seattle. I'm not sure about that.
Dude, that was the maddest Super Bowl of my life. I was so pissed.
Yeah. I think the Super Bowl I was most upset about, it wasn't even the undefeated Patriots, which I feel like I shouldn't even admit that.
I love that season. That was my favorite.
The worst.
Yeah, the Giants beat the Cowboys to get to the Super Bowl that year.
I know. That wasn't even the worst one. The Super Bowl that I was the most depressed after, and I was depressed as fuck after that Super Bowl, was when the Cardinals lost to the Steelers.
Oh, that was so fucking rough.
I still feel that. Like, I still feel the pain from that
Dude,
Super Bowl.
Santonio Holmes, that catch. Oh, my God. And if Larry Fitzgerald wouldn't have scored, they would have won the game.
Right. There's so many things that had to happen. James Harrison's 99-yard touchdown with 0 time on the clock at the end of the half. They would have been up by 3 touchdowns, I think, if they had scored that going into halftime. Like, I felt like the Cardinals were the superior team, and they were so bad for so long.
Yeah.
And I love
Kurt Warner getting another one, Larry Fitzgerald being a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah. Just
that would have been nice.
Yeah.
And now he's still playing. He would have retired if he had won that by now.
Sure.
Well, probably, maybe. I don't know. He's one of those guys, though. He might just play till they kick him out of the league. But, yeah, that one hurt more than the Patriots undefeated. It's just weird to admit, but it just did. I was depressed for weeks. All right. Enough of that nonsense. You guys ready for some football tonight?
I'm very ready.
Game. Even though I have no chance, no stake in the game other than DraftKings. I'm going to watch my DraftKings picks against you guys because now we got some real shit to play for. So the winner also gets to choose the tattoo. We'll decide what size it is allowed. It's probably something like my hat emblem here, something like
that. Seems fair.
About that size, yeah. I don't know if we're
good spring break tattoo size.
It's a spring. I think we should pick a spring break time that it has to happen, and I don't know if we have to put any stipulations on what it can or can't be. Probably nothing. Well, let's say the other person who's not involved has to approve it. How about that? The second place person has
a neutral party.
Yes.
That seems fair.
Has a veto.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We can't do anything too bad. I think it's gonna be fun. I'm sure whatever it is, it's gonna be good. I'm excited about it. All right. Thanks again, guys. I will see you sometime. Maybe I'll see you this week. I don't know. You guys doing comedy shows at all? You got anything coming up?
I think I got a CNI Wednesday.
Yeah.
Or whatever it's called now.
Yeah. I'm doing CNI Wednesday too. I think I'm on at 9:30. What about you, Lonnie? You doing anything?
Not yet. I might do Shipwreckers on Sunday though.
Okay, cool. I'm probably gonna do that one as well.
Yeah.
All right. And then I got you guys.
Oh, do you guys want to go to the ring?